If you're anything like me, you may have a tendency to want to fidget around in your system trying to fine-tune it like it was a race car. Now, to a degree, that's okay, provided that the changes you're making are gradual and necessary, and you're testing and watching the health of your animals and your system overall. Now, the problem occurs when you chase numbers. That always ends badly, a lesson I've learned the hard way. Now, nothing good happens fast in a reef tank, in my experience, but bad things often happen quickly. I've crashed a system or two by chasing numbers or trying to add too many animals too fast. Reefing, guys, is a long game. Instead of chasing numbers, chase stability. Hello everyone, my name is James, and welcome to Perseverance Reef. Now, in order to chase stability, you want to do a couple of different things. When dosing, for instance, to keep calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium where they need to be, because perhaps water changes alone aren't keeping up with the demand of your corals or your clams or those types of creatures, even coralline, then what you want to do, instead of dosing it all that kalkwasser all at once or that all for reef, you do want to drip it into the tank over time, preferably into the sump. And doing it gradually, doing it on a drip, is going to keep your system a lot more stable in the long run. The numbers won't fluctuate nearly as much. And understand that some fluctuation in numbers is going to be normal, especially if you're dosing. But even if you're not, to a degree, that's going to occur. So that's another thing that we need to talk about. And the same goes for dosing lanthanum chloride to decrease phosphates. What I would honestly do is, if you can at all, dose it with a dosing pump. But if you can't afford a dosing pump, then a little bit of airline and an airline valve, you can set that so that it just drips, and that will help a lot. Although with kalkwasser, I would still recommend the dosing pump if you can help it at all, and that will definitely lead to increased stability. Now, when adding animals, you do not want to add anything without doing your research first. I can tell you a really good way to crash your tank is going to be to go out, for instance, and you buy a magnificent anemone, also known as Rotary anemones. You buy one of those and put it in a new tank, you're asking for a disaster. Because what's going to happen is it's going to die because of the unstable parameters already present. And it's going to just, with the toxins and everything else, it's just going to throw everything out of balance. So you don't want to do that if you can help it. Always research what you intend to buy. And even with things like damsels, you add an azure damsel to a 75-gallon tank, it's not going to pollute the water all that much. It's not going to fluctuate your reef chemistry all that much because there's so much water as compared with the pollution that one fish creates. But if you add that same fish to a 10-gallon reef, now all of a sudden it's a lot worse, because that one fish, that pollution is not nearly as diluted in the as it is in the 75-gallon system. So you've really got to give the system time to adjust, no matter how large or small it is. And again, that will only help keep things stable in the long run and make your reef healthier. So honestly, I would recommend that you do those things, and it's going to help you a lot. Now, don't go to the opposite extreme. Don't don't neglect your tank. I mean, and also don't decide to withhold food thinking, oh, my nitrates and phosphates won't go up much if I do that, if I withhold food. That's very bad. That actually will cause more instability than just feeding your tank properly. What you want to do, I mean, I believe in heavy feeding, and I absolutely recommend it to everyone. Because, especially if you do it from day one, the tank is going to stabilize because it's going to get used to that load of chemicals and things that the food will generate. And the animals that you have will eat it and be good and healthy. Corals, everything will benefit from it. And as long as you keep up with water changing and such, you won't have much of a problem with nitrates. So that will help a lot. Now, what you do want to do is strike a balance between the two extremes. I mean, keep an eye on your system. As much as you can. You really would ideally like to at least check on it twice a day. Now, some of you have work schedules that are crazy, or maybe you have to be away from your house for days at a time for your job, or maybe you take a long vacation even once a year. If you have others in the household, you could have them look in on the tank and feed it and report any issues that they may see. And if you don't have anybody, if you're single or whatever, and no one is there to check on the tank, then you may need to buy a Reef controller, which would tell you how your tank is doing, and it can monitor all kinds of parameters. But that's something I'm going to get into in another video completely. So, in summary, guys, don't chase numbers, chase stability. Don't neglect your tank, but don't fidget in it constantly either. Do feed heavily, and do look in on it twice a day if you can at all help it. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. That'll really help this channel a lot. Goodbye for now. I'll see you in the next video.